There is a lot of negative press out there about skiing. Lots of complaints. It's too expensive. Traffic is too bad. Lift lines are too long. There isn't enough free parking. The bus systems aren't good. The food isn't good. Ski towns are too expensive for workers to live in. The rich are making the culture bad. The ski bums are making the culture bad. Weed should be outlawed. Weed should be allowed at more resorts. People aren't courteous enough. Mountain towns are losing their aesthetic. Ski resorts aren't doing enough to combat climate change. There's not enough snow. Nothing's open. There's too much snow. Nothing's open. Nobody knows how to drive in the mountains. People overskiing their abilities ruins the snow on expert trails. Epic and Icon have made skiing too accessible. Skiing isn't accessible enough to those who aren't in the top 1%. All the independents are being bought out. Lessons are too expensive. Rentals are terrible quality. Resorts don't groom enough trails. Resorts groom too many trails. Mountain safety is too strict. More resorts need to adopt mountain safety. Lifties play terrible music. There are no tables at lunch. And you know what? When you look into it really deeply, you start to see conflicting arguments. Lift lines are too long, so the resort should spend more money to build better lifts. But yet, skiing is too expensive, and ski resorts should decrease prices. But decreased prices via things like the Epic Pass have brought too many people to the resorts. So how can you expect them to fix all of those issues without it impacting another? There's a delicate balance to be maintained, and I believe that the industry is actually doing the best it can in balancing right now. The rich, driving up prices and thinking they own the slopes, are ruining the vibe. The ski bums, with the smell of weed and their lack of courtesy on the slopes, are somehow also ruining the vibe. So if both groups are ruining the vibe, then who isn't? I believe that there are resorts that cater more to each of those demographics, and it is absolutely possible to find your mountain. Look, I know this video is going to be very controversial. Before I get into the thick of it, please bear in mind that I am only sharing my opinions here. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion, and if you disagree with what I say, that's perfectly fine. In fact, I would quite like to hear your guys' thoughts down in the comments. But at the end of the day, here is my take. The ski industry is certainly changing, but it's not necessarily for better or for worse. Guys, I recognize that I am one of the greats when it comes to finding literally anything to complain about at ski resorts, but please recognize that it's a facade. I don't actually hate Breckenridge or Winter Park or Angel Fire or North Star or Heavenly. In fact, a few of those I actually quite love. So why am I making haters guides? I'm making these videos simply to bring awareness to what's going on. I don't intend to harm the reputation of any resort, and I certainly do not intend to discourage anyone from skiing. However, it is also in my personal nature to complain about a lot of things, and it is also a solid form of entertainment, I would like to think. I do also recognize this. One of the most common comments I see on a video like the Haters Guides is, just go skiing during the week and you won't have these issues. Being a full-time student, I don't get the opportunity to go midweek very often. Many other people don't either, just due to their situation. To tell someone to just do something without fully understanding the situation seems a little bit closed-minded in my opinion. But regardless, here's the beauty of that thought. Most, if not all, ski resorts offer cheaper tickets if you go midweek. This is a sign of improvement. This is the ski resorts doing their best to shift traffic away from the busy peak days. They want to balance it, and above all else, this does indeed display that big corporate, yes, even Vail Resorts, is at least in a loose interpretation, committed to improving the customer experience at their resorts. So yes, there's a lot of negative media out there right now about the ski industry, and I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a contributor. But at the end of the day, to answer the question in the thumbnail, no, I really don't think it's that bad. Skiing is evolving. If you're stuck in the past when ski towns weren't corporatized and things weren't expensive and lift lines weren't as long, well, I hate to break it to you, but the old times aren't coming back. Yes, skiing is getting much busier, but that's because it's more accessible. More people are coming out to ski each and every year. If that's a problem, that more people are enjoying the thing you love, then that's just plain selfish. I've certainly had my moments, as have most all experienced skiers and riders. But at the end of the day, I can't fault a stranger for desiring to try the sport. I'm not entitled to anything. That's something that I do wish everyone would bear in mind, but again, I'm not perfect, nor is anybody else. When you look at the ski industry as a whole, you'll realize that every facet of the industry is doing their best to fix the situation. I-70 is infamous for its ski traffic. In order to solve that issue, CDOT has commissioned a complete redesign of Floyd Hill and the Route 6 interchange. It's going to take several years due to the nature of the terrain. And it very well may make ski traffic even worse for those years. But guys, I'll be darned if you tried to argue that the state's not at least doing something to try and ameliorate the situation. Out in Utah, to address the Little Cottonwood Canyon traffic issues, there is an ongoing fight over a gondola along the entire canyon. I personally support the gondola. Lots of people do not. Look, I'm not going to turn into the guy who just goes, "Can't we all just get along?" But my point here is that there is a conscious effort being made towards improvement, even though in this specific situation it has been futile thus far. And as far as futile efforts go, please don't even get me started on the Park City Lift situation. Something I've heard a lot of complaints about are the extra costs. I've seen a ton of comments about people hating both the principle of the I-70 Express Lane and the people who use it. One particularly memorable comment said, "I can't stand the express lanes or the selfish pricks who pay to use them." Which is absolutely baffling to me. If you pay to use them, then you've done something to earn the advantage over everyone else. You gave them money. If you're that much against the government taking $8, then I hope you understand that your tax money is what's funding the National Forest Service, the organization that allows like 95% of these ski resorts to operate in the first place. But this is already getting too political, so I'll back off. All I want to say is that that money, in theory, is going to helping improve the driving experience for everyone. So every time someone passes you in the express lane, instead of cursing them out, just try your best to recognize that, in some sort of roundabout way, they're helping solve the overall issue. Another complaint I see is the paid parking issue, and on this issue I totally see both sides. Unfortunately, a lot of ski resorts have absolutely made paid parking into a cash grab rather than a capacity limiter. I'm not going to argue that. However, the same principle applies here as with the Mountain Express lanes. That money is going somewhere, and while some admittedly is going into the pockets of Kirsten Lynch and Jared Smith, that money is also contributing to the constant improvements. A lot of people say, well, look at Europe, they get brand new six-pack every year while we get one per decade. But what a lot of people who look at that sole aspect to determine if the companies are investing enough in the mountains don't realize is this. The corporations in North America are not only investing in lifts, but also in building developed base villages, better on-mountain services, terrain expansions, and snowmaking, all of which are things that European resorts generally have much more of already established. As such, those resorts in Europe aren't trying to balance what all they are investing in as much as our resorts over here. But at the end of the day, guys, if you're always saying Europe is better, then I invite you to head to Europe, because at the end of the day, that can often end up costing only slightly more than an intercontinental trip. This is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the issues the ski industry is currently facing. But I truly believe, deep down, that there is a way to avoid all of them. Every single one of us can still have a great time skiing. If you'd like advice on how to maximize your day, vacation season, or whatever it may be based on your own personal situation, DM me on Instagram and I'd be more than happy to do whatever I can to help. Guys, it's changing. Every industry changes, and the outdoors industry just happens to be one of the fastest. All it took was a catalyst like a global pandemic. I wish you all the greatest of seasons next year. Try your best to go about it with a positive attitude. Stay open-minded, and don't forget that not everyone at a ski resort is out to get you. Skiing will never be the same, but that doesn't mean it can't still be good. Don't take my haters' guides, or for that matter, life in general, too seriously. I hope you're all out on the hill having a great time, because I know I will be. And of course, thank you all for coming to my TED Talk. Please leave all of your questions, dump your thoughts, debate nicely, and do whatever else you feel appropriate down below. I look forward to seeing all of your guys' reactions. All my love, I'm out.